Okay, welcome back to part 3, the third application in this polychromatic tonal study as devised by John Pastoriza-Pignol. I'm pretty sure I credited him early, but I better credit him again just in case I didn't. So now we're going to add the third colour, which is a quinacridone red, which will complete that poly, as in many, chromatic coloured study. Okay, so what we're looking for with this third application is we're looking to introduce what's called the local colour, and I use that term in inverted commas. And the local colour kind of basically identifies the colour of the subject. So the local colour for this is a plum, which if we extrapolate it a little bit further, sits in the red part of the colour wheel. Okay, it's really important with this type of painting. We want to get as many layers and colours underneath, which will come through. And yeah, if we look again at say this one, there's lots of beautiful reds as well as plums, and we want to keep layering and really building up the richness of the colours. Okay, so the idea is with the local colour is it straddles both the warm and the cool area, and it sort of starts to create the form, okay, of the subject. All right. So it usually sits in areas which, how can I say, in this instance, areas which are coming forward, okay, where there is a change between cool and dark, cool and warm, warm and cool. Get it right, Amanda. Okay, so let's go to our next application, the quinacridone red. So what do we do first? We wet the paper. Now, which plum shall we start with first? Probably the one closest to us. This one. And we'll start adding some water. So, as before, make sure that the paper is really nice and dry before you start adding another layer of water. And in terms of how long that takes, look, a lot of factors come into it. Weather, heating, so pressure, deadlines. So it, but ideally you want the paper to be dry. Now, a good hour at least. But if you're in conditions where it's warm and the paper's drying quite quickly, you might be able to layer it a bit sooner. But at least an hour. I know John will let it dry overnight. So there you go. That's lovely and wet. So yeah, 1 to 2 hours I would suggest. You can work on another painting in the meantime. So I've got some quinacridone red, and guess what? We're after a weak tea strength. Oh yeah, happy days. There, that's not bad at all. So always handy to have that little bit of paper nearby. So I'm straddling, not literally, but I'm applying paint on that area between that area where the yellow, the warm and the cool meet. So I've got something going on like that. Right. Oh, I like that. Very good. And when you're sort of adjusting it, you know, spreading the paint around, try not to overwork it. Sometimes you just need to tease it a little bit. I'm going to drop a little bit of pigment in here. Okay. Beautiful. And I really should drop a bit of pigment on that little bit of branch. Little bit of branch, that tiny little bit of stem, which will eventually be brown. Okay, so that is my first application. I'll just zoom in so you can see the pigment on that. So I've just sort of worked and applied it to sort of the right side of that little stem. Okie dokie. Zoom back out. Let's get cracking on this one. Number 5 brush again. Notice I'm turning my paper around. Much easier to control the water that way. All right. Get it the right way up, Amanda. Okay, so I'm going to be applying paint here and a little bit here. Apply. I'm just having to think about this. What did I do in the other one? Oh yeah, got it. I'm going to be applying it here where the shoulder of the plum is, and it's coming towards me. A little bit down here, not too close to the reflected light. I am going to pop a little bit in here where it is a deep plummy colour. I've got some blue on the outside for the reflected light, but I just want to start to create that little area there. So let's just get it on. Okay. Oh, come back. Now see how it's gone like all puddly? That's because I've not let the paint dry, and I'm trying to hurry because I don't want this video to be too long or it won't upload. All right. It will upload, it just takes forever. So let's just get this back on. And just a hint here. So using the same brush, but if you want to use a different brush, that's fine. And all right, just had a bit close to the edge there, and I wanted to remove it. Okay, so that is your polychromatic tonal study, which when dry will look like that. Okay, bye for now.